Touchette's Gabby. I am getting into the penny box, the second penny box from my friend in West Virginia that he sent me. And we're going to see what we got. He assures me that this box is going to be even better than the last one. What I get, 9 wheat, several Canadian, and 3 pounds and 12 ounces of copper. So let's see if this one's going to be better. It's starting to get weird around here. My big wall of pennies is gone. It's all boxed up. I'm starting to box things up and getting them ready for the move. Still a little ways out yet, but we're starting to get stuff done now because it's going to get crazy fast. But in the meantime, let's go through this box. One ender, worth note. Nice Canadian 1971 copper. And we'll put that guy right there. Have you ever had one of these little hard candies? I get them sometimes like at a Japanese restaurant or a Thai restaurant. I don't know what fruit that is. I thought maybe it was kiwi, but I don't believe it is. Whatever it is, they sure are good. I enjoy it when they've got those. I always ask for a few extra. What fruit is that? Anyway, there's my 71 Canadian for the first row. Nice start. This is my 9th roll, and this is my 2nd Canadian, but no Wheaties yet. 1970. That's a drag, ain't it? But we'll just see what happens. Today, my wife caught a stomach virus. Oh, she's just miserable. She just laid on the couch all day long and then went to bed early. I won't talk about the details, but she's not had a good go of it. I'm hoping that tomorrow we'll see some improvement. Don't know where we got it. She got it, whatever. You just never know, I guess. Getting some copper, but not much else. Well, the copper's been pretty good, I think. My 20th roll, and I get my first wheat penny. A 1951 San Francisco. I lost my harp in San Francisco. Weenie number 1. Wow. I would have never thought it. Copper's been pretty good. I had one roll that only had 2 in it, but then I had a roll that had 20 in it, so it's been pretty good. If you're new here, what we're looking for the copper, for just flat hoarding copper pennies, we're looking for 1959 through 1981 are all 95% copper. And about 2/3 of the 1982s are 95% copper. But to know the difference, you have to get a little scale, kind of like this one, and set it for grams, like this one is. And then you put, here's an 82. Put it on there. If it's around 3.1 grams, that's copper. 2.5 grams is zinc. You don't want the zinc. You want the copper. So that's what I'm going through now. Copper pennies they've come down just a little bit the last couple of days. They're about 3.10 cents each per penny. So every time you find a copper penny, it's worth over 3 cents in copper value. Now, here's another thing that I do. In 1983 was the full transition year where they were supposed to all be zinc. But a few copper planchets got stuck in there somehow. And so if you're into this, you weigh your 83s, and if they weigh the 3.1, you've got a copper 1983, and that's worth a nice chunk of money. I've never found one yet, but sometimes people do. And so that's one of the other things that I do. I have the scales here ready. It's quick and easy. There's lots and lots and lots and lots of error coins to look for that can be worth money, and some of them can be worth a lot of money. This is a 2009. This is another thing that we look for. This is a memorial penny. They made 4 different reverse designs, all in memorial of Lincoln. And the cool thing, not only are they neat that they're memorial penny, but we had the financial crisis in 2008, which caused the minting to be lowered, and so they made a lot fewer 2009s than they anticipated because of our financial crunch that began in 2008. So that makes them, they're not like rare, but it makes them more collectible for sure. So I always collect those two. I got several rolls of them put away. And another thing that I look for, which I've only found one so far this box, is the wheat pennies. And I have averaged about 10. So when I can go through a box of pennies, the box of pennies is $25. Okay, right there. My goal is, my hopes are to get 3 pounds of copper and 10 wheat pennies. And hopefully a handful of the Canadian. We'll talk about that in a minute. But if I get that, I feel like I've had a good, successful box. Anything way over that, and it's really gravy. We'll talk more in a minute. Okay, folks, here is wheat penny number 2. $19.52. D. It is 6:05 in the morning. Oh man, I'm out of it. I didn't go to bed because I wanted to make sure that my wife, who's feeling terrible, gets a good night's sleep. And sometimes at night I toss and turn a bit and wake her up. So I didn't want that to happen last night. I've been on the couch, but I've just been awake. I think I dozed for a minute, but I'm so tired. After she wakes up, I'll probably take a nap on the bed sometime. So we've got 2 Wheaties so far, but the copper's pretty good. Another thing that I look for, the Wheaties, by the way, the wheat pennies, they were made from 1909 to 1958. Some of them are rare, but they're all worth more just collectability. There's an 82. I'll weigh those later to get the copper ones out. And so if you have a roll of copper pennies compared to a roll of wheat pennies, you're going to make more money on the wheat pennies. So they're more collectible. They're a little bit more valuable, and they're just fun. I love the design. They're fun to collect. Now, before the wheat penny was the Indian head penny, I have found one coin roll hunting, and it was just recently too. And it was a super nice one. I was really shocked at how nice it was. $82. And so I like to collect those wheat pennies. I've got rolls and rolls of them, So I usually get pretty close to 10, and sometimes well over. And so they start adding up. And I'll look for Canadian, because America stopped, well, the USA, Canada's America too. The USA stopped making theirs in 82, but Canada made their pennies copper all the way up until 1996. And theirs are 98% copper, which is pretty cool. But they quit making their pennies in 2012, so they're out of circulation as far as their currency is concerned. I mean, you still find them. But here, let me show you. They weigh different. From 1982 to 96, they're 12-sided. And these are the lightest. I think they're like 2.5. And then from 80 and 81, all of them are 98% copper, but they weighed a little bit more then. And then from 53 to 79, they weighed even more. And then there's, before that one, there's the front of that one. Elizabeth, before her was King George VI. And those are really collectible. These you can hoard. I still separate them in the different weights just because I like to. But these are collectible. You don't want those to be put in with the general hoarding. I'll move on to another roll. This is the 32nd roll, and I get wheat penny number 3. 55D. All of them have been in the 50s so far. Oh, there's another one. That's cool. 53D. There's 4. That's cool. There's 50 rolls to a regular box. And just to let you know, it takes about 8.5 coppers per roll to get right at your 3 pounds. Hey, I finally found another Canadian. This is one of the 12-sided. This one is a Confederation anniversary, 1867 and 1992. And you see it's 12-sided, but it's 98% copper. Most of us who are hoarding copper think that copper is going to go up considerably more. Like I said, they're worth 3.10 cents each now. Just a few weeks ago, they were only worth 2.5 cents each. And copper demand is just getting higher and higher, especially with all the new windmills and things like that. Zinc. And the copper mines are producing less, because most of the copper mines in the world are old, and they're starting to produce less, and so there's going to be more exploration for finding more of them, and the price is just going to go up. Kind of like silver. It's $30 plus an ounce now. Back in the 80s, it was 4. I know it's been a while, but that's a big difference. Some people like to collect the 2017 P because that was the first year they put the P on the penny, because if it don't have a mint mark, it's Philadelphia. So you got Philadelphia, the D for Denver, and the S for San Francisco. But in 2017, they started putting the P on. Here's Wheatie number 5, 1956D. I'm not finding any old ones so far today, but at least I'm finding some. I believe that's copper. I believe it's 81, but we'll weigh it just to make sure. Yeah, it's copper. Another thing I find every now and then that's really fun is dimes. I even have a slot for it on my mat. I get the biggest kick out of finding the dimes. I haven't found one for a few boxes. But sometimes you'll find Bermuda penny or Bahamas, and that's one of the cool things is you just find some different stuff sometimes, and I get anytime something's different, I get a kick out of it. I just enjoy. I see a Canadian coming up. There's another one. 1980. So now I've got the 3 different weights. I got a King George the last box. You don't find those very often. When you do, it's a real treat. A friend of mine just a couple days ago said they're going to the Grand Canyon, and said they'd never been there. I got within, I think, 100 miles of it. I was with my cousin. We had lived out in Phoenix for a little while and was heading home. We was running out of money. And we didn't even, I wanted to go to the Grand Canyon, but we were so low on money, we just couldn't risk it. We ended up getting back home with a jar of pennies left. Literally. Folks, I'm not kidding. This is the very, very next row. And look up there. There's a dime. That's so cool. It's not a silver one, but it's so fun to find them. Make a little 9-cent profit there. All right. Something else that I keep from time to time. When I get a copper penny that's just in nearly perfect condition. This one's close. It looks real good, but it's a little bit more worn than I want for that. I'll keep those and put them in the little 2x2 containers like these right here. This one is pretty close, but it's just not quite what I want. So this will just go into my general hoard. There's 10 rolls left after this roll in this box. And here's Wheatie number 6. And this one's back in the 40s, 1944, Philadelphia. I did want to say that if you're watching this and you're new to this, and if I'm not answering your questions, please feel free to make a comment and ask a question. I always try to answer. And if you just want to say hey, I'll say hey back. Just, I love to hear from people. That's part of the reason I do this, as far as making the videos. This is an S. The S ones seem harder to come by. So I have saved several rolls of just the S coins. I just did. I don't know. But there's several other people out there that have agreed with me that the S ones are fun to find. But I've got several of this particular one. I'm not going to save it. I just wanted to point that out. One roll, a few rolls back, I got 21 coppers in a row. With 6 rows to go, here's Wheat Penny number 7, 1946. Got a little interesting color going on there. So I like that wheat design. I really enjoy that. This house we're getting ready to move into, it was my aunt's. I grew up next door to. She passed back in January. But her son, my cousin, lives down in Florida, and he wants me and my wife to get it all emptied for him before we move into it. So we've got to take her clothes to Goodwill. She's got tons of books. We're going to take them to half price and see if we can get a couple dollars for them. Half price books. Buys books. With just 4 rows to go, this is my 5th Canadian, 1974. This is called the Maple Leaf design. Copper. The very next row, and I find my 6th Canadian copper penny. This one's 1964. That last roll that I just went through had 18 copper pennies in it. That's pretty good. It felt like I slid 2 pennies there. Well, those last few rolls, I got more copper, but I didn't get any more Canadian or any more wheat pennies. I was really hoping to get another, to get 8. I ended up with 7, but only had 1 after the first half, so I guess I can't complain about that. But I got a lot of copper here. I really think I have 4 pounds. Oh, I do. The box weighs 1.1 ounce, so that is 4 pounds and an ounce. Fantastic. That's a lot of copper for one box, I'm telling you, folks. Let me add these to my other box. This one's currently at 11 pounds, or close to 12 pounds. So this, and I fill it up, I seal it up at 15 pounds. So I will finish this one up and seal it up. I'll show it to you in a minute, and then start another box. Pretty cool. I'll keep them right down here for now. This is this year's copper. Each box is 15 pounds. So that's going to put me at over 120 pounds for the year, and my goal is 260 pounds for this year. We'll see. I don't know. I guess I'm still in line. I'm doing pretty good. Well, here it is, all sealed up and ready to go back on the stack and start another box. Got about 12 ounces left to get started on the next box. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Remember, if you've got any questions, just ask.